let's dive into the Mandalorian. My friend, what do you think we're expecting here with the Mandalorian?
Well,
I love the preview.
Well, from what I've heard, you hear Boba Fett's going to make an appearance. I've heard that Obi-Wan donned his old, Ian McGregor donned his old outfit for part of the Mandalorian. Wow. Right
they
there.
Are making they are making a standalone Obi-Wan movie.
Oh, and that is so good. He is my favorite Jedi. In my opinion, he's
written the best.
Yeah, and he was played well. But if you look at all the people, I guess, yeah, in the main movies, there's so much other canon that people don't know about. So it's hard whether I should dive into like Jedi kills, because in the movies, Obi-Wan, man, if you take down, he took down Anakin, he took down Grievous, he took down, who else did he take down? There's Darth Maul. Like, you know what I mean? Like Obi-Wan, in my opinion, Obi-Wan is the ultimate Jedi. I know a lot of people love Yoda, but Obi-Wan, in my opinion. So if I saw him in The Mandalorian now, I'd be really stoked on that. I also hear Cara Dune is coming back, which is amazing. I can't remember the actress that plays Cara Dune, but she also played a character in Deadpool 1, which is amazing. But I thought Cara Dune was an awesome character. What did you think of her?
I loved it, and I think she was super. You know, it almost touches on what we talked about last week with this amazing female, just fucking kicking ass,
doing it right.
But you've heard people forever talk about how women aren't written well or properly in movies or in comics or anything. You're a big proponent of this. You're like, this is why you said that. I remember a quote you told me one time when we were watching Kevin Smith movies, which is like, he just writes women the best.
He does. And who doesn't?
Writes women the best.
Who did we decide cannot write for dialogue for a woman?
George Lucas.
George. You poor son of a bitch.
That's right.
Don't even attempt it, George.
That's crazy. I love that it's still Baby Yoda. I love that they haven't made him a teenager yet. So that would be too much of a jump. That would be too much of a jump. And keep in mind, friends, that we are doing this from watching the trailer, but we're not diving in Chris will dive in, but we're not going to get all crazy on like whether they're holding the right lightsaber in this scene in the preview, like some people go.
The Dark Saber is going to be coming in there, right?
Which I can't wait to see. But we're talking about the little things to get excited about. It looks like these new planets they're going to. What else are you seeing in there?
Well, I'm curious if have you heard anything about Darth Maul being in this? Because
I heard rumblings that they were going to try to work him into this series, but I don't know if it's going to happen in season 2.
Because the Dark Sabers, the funny thing is the Dark Saber was a huge part of the ending of season 1, right?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing too much about that or hearing too much about the Dark Saber, which that was all the talk about. I actually did a chat thing about it on the Blundell show there about the Dark Saber and how important it was going to be. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. Maybe they're not showing that because it's going to be so impressive.
Yeah.
Once it does come out. But Darth Maul had it before, right? The last person that we saw with the Dark Saber was Darth Maul. Now we don't know how this new, I'm blanking on the new guy's name. I've seen him in so many movies lately. It's ridiculous. But he's also wearing like the Darth Vader thing at the end there when he comes out with his saber. There's so much little information with this gentleman and his saber, but I would love to see how he got it from Darth Maul.
It looks like obviously reuniting the baby with Jedi, and that's a whole thing, which I'm hoping that they're going to touch on a lot of Jedi origin story here. Mm-hmm. And I think, Favreau's the guy to do it.
He's amazing. Yeah.
He's and touching on like the Jedi, origin story. I mean, there's so many different origin stories, and you think about where they could go with this. They could take the Mandalorian as far as they want, and then it leads up to like a backstory of Luke, and then a backstory into like, that they touched on in the books with like him getting married. Oh my God, there's so many places they can go with this series, right? And
they have the right people behind the helm of it too, which is exciting, right? I mean, there's been times where, you hear somebody's going to do a movie or a show about something you really enjoy, and then you see who's directing it or writing it, and you're like, oh wow, okay, this is going to suck. But this is brilliant. Everything that's come out from, I can't think of anything that Favreau's done that's been really bad. You know, he's really on top of his pop culture with Marvel and Star Wars, man. I'm really stoked.
Yeah, very excited to see where it's going. A little wrestling tie-in. Sasha Banks is in there. I saw her dressed up. I wonder if she's like a mystery Jedi in there. I'm so glad that they didn't end up killing off Carl Weathers, because you got to have Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed's got to be there. And let me tell you something. Is Apollo Creed, did he get the short end here of life? Because he was on his way to become a massive star.
Right.
And then he just kind of vanished. How do you go from Rocky to Action Jackson to Predator?
Right.
And then he was in Happy Gilmore.
He was. That was
and
great.
then that was kind of it. And I'm like, is there anybody that got, that had a more of an upswing than Carl Weathers?
Maybe piss somebody off. Huh?
Oh my God.
Was he in those? You know those movies that like Stallone's in and everybody's in?
I'm sure. Yeah, I think he was The Expendables.
Oh, The Expendables. Was he in that?
I'm sure he was.
Okay. See,
I'm sure he was.
Those movies,
you know what I mean? That's I never really saw them either. The premise of getting all those action stars together was awesome. But I'm guessing that like the implementation, they made a whole shit ton of money. But let me bring it up here. And see what the cast was. I'm sure he was, because you just can't. I mean, he had Ivan Drago in there, so
it was like everybody was in there, right? It was almost too many stars for me to watch. I couldn't fit.
It's almost like Terry Crews replaced Carl Weathers.
Oh yeah,
and I don't, and he's doing everything, and I don't know if I agree with that. I think Carl Weathers I like him better. So far, I'm looking at the cast. I don't see him in anything. I'm sure he was in there, but I haven't seen him in maybe he was in one of the other ones. But regardless,
off, or he had some health issues, maybe, huh?
Yeah. Anyways, we'll get off Carl Weathers here. And Carl was our fallen brother Zig was a huge Carl Weathers fan. You know what I mean? Right. So he was always talking Carl Weathers and the Predator stuff. So anyways, looking forward to this October 30th for The Mandalorian. More to come on that. Can't wait to dive into.
That's Friday? Is that like
30th?
That's a week from today?
I think it's a Sunday.
Oh, it's a Sunday. Okay.
Yeah. No, it must be a Friday, because I think Halloween's on a Saturday this year. So there you go.
Today's the 23rd. You lose track of the days.
You know what? You really do. You just do, especially when the world that we're in right now, and none of us really have a schedule to keep.
I'm Chris Machete, and I create comic books.
Hey, I'm Brenton On Tour, and I drink coffee and talk about it in the other thing that I do.
And together we are
the Kids on the Escalator Podcast.
Exclusively on the network where all the cool shit happens.
Exactly. Tuesday nights you can catch us
on the Dean Blundell Network, where you will find good times,
rad dudes.